Dropshipping average income might look unpredictable, but there's actually a clear formula behind it. You see the screenshots online: Lamborghinis, mansions, and million-dollar months. But let's stop scrolling and look at the reality. If you want to know the truth about dropshipping average income, you have to stop looking at the highlight reels and start looking at the math. In 2026, the game has changed. It is no longer about spamming cheap products on a generic website. It is a real business with real numbers, real costs, and thin margins. Today, we are going to strip away the hype. We are going to treat this like an accounting class. We will define exactly what dropshipping is, break down the startup costs, calculate the profit gap, and reveal what the vast majority of beginners actually earn in their first 6 months. What is dropshipping? The business model. Before we look at the income, we need to define the machine. What is dropshipping? In simple terms, dropshipping is a retail fulfillment method where a business sells products without keeping them in stock. Instead of buying hundreds of items and storing them in your garage, you purchase items from a third-party supplier only after you have made a sale. That supplier then ships the product directly to your customer. Here is how it works in practice. Imagine you find a product on a supplier site like AliExpress. Let's say it's a unique kitchen gadget for $5. You take a photo of it and upload it to your own website, listing it for $25. You haven't bought it yet. You have zero inventory cost. When a customer visits your site and buys the gadget for $25, you receive the payment. You then go to the supplier, purchase the gadget for $5, and enter your customer's name and address. The supplier ships it directly to your buyer. You made a $20 spread. You never touched the product. You didn't pack a box. You acted as the middleman. This sounds like the perfect business. Low risk, high reward. But this is where the math behind the business usually gets ignored. The math breakdown, where the money actually goes. To understand the income, we have to understand the profit gap. Most beginners calculate the revenue and assume it's all profit. Let's do a realistic profit and loss statement for a single sale in 2026. You sell a product for $30. This is your revenue. Cost of goods sold. You buy the product from the supplier. Let's say you found a decent quality item, not the cheapest junk. Cost $10. Shipping costs. In 2026, customers expect fast shipping. If you use standard cheap shipping from China, it takes 20 days and you will get chargebacks. To compete, you might use a private agent or faster shipping lines. Let's estimate shipping at $6. Transaction fees. Shopify, PayPal, Stripe, and credit card processors all take a cut, usually around 3% plus 30 cents per transaction. On a $30 sale, that's roughly $1.20. The gross profit. $30 revenue minus $10 product minus 6 shipping minus $1.20 fees equals $12.80. So, before marketing, you have $12.80 in gross profit. The killer variable, marketing CPA. Here is where 90% of beginners fail. No one knows your website exists. You need traffic. You can post on TikTok for free, which takes time, or you can run ads on Facebook or TikTok ads. The cost to acquire one customer CPA in a competitive niche can easily be $15 to $20. Let's say you are a decent advertiser and your CPA is $15. You spend $15 on ads to get that $30 sale. The net profit, gross profit $12.80, ad cost $15. Net result negative $2.20. You just lost $2.20 on that sale. You did the work, you handled the customer service, and you paid the ads, but you lost money. This is the reality for most beginners. They don't calculate the customer acquisition cost before they start. They see the $30 revenue and think they are rich. Understanding this math is the difference between a hobby and a business. Once you see the numbers on the table, you realize that winging it isn't an option. It's all about growth from here. Hit that subscribe if you're ready to level up your strategy. The reality, what beginners earn months 0 to 6. Now that we understand the thin margins, let's look at what beginners actually take home. For the vast majority of beginners, dropshipping is not profitable in the first 1 to 3 months. In fact, statistically, most beginners operate at a net loss during this period. Why? Because you are buying data. When you launch your first store, you don't know which product will sell. You don't know which ad image works. You have to test. You spend $500 on ads to test 5 products. 4 of them fail. 1 of them gets a few sales. In months 0 to 3, you are essentially paying tuition. You are paying to learn how to set up a store that converts, how to write ad copy, how to handle customer complaints about shipping times. A realistic income statement for a beginner in month 3 looks like this. Revenue, $2,000. Product and shipping costs, $1,000. Ad spend, $1,200. Subscription, app fees, $100. Net profit, negative $300. Most gurus won't show you a negative $300 a month, but this is the reality. The average beginner earns earns $0 or negative income in the first quarter. If you are breaking even in month 2, you are actually doing better than average. The 90% failure rate explained 2026. You've heard the statistic, 90% of dropshippers fail. In 2026, this statistic is not because the business model is dead. It is because the standards have risen. In 2016, you could sell a generic watch from China with a standard picture and people would buy it because it was new. In 2026, customers are savvy. They know about shipping times. They know about AliExpress. Here is why the 90% actually fail, based on the math we just did. 1. Launching generic stores with no branding. If your website looks like a scam or looks exactly like 50 other stores selling the same item, you won't build trust. Trust equals sales. If you don't invest time in branding, your conversion rate drops from 2% to 0.5%. That small drop changes your profit margin from positive to negative instantly. 2. Failing to account for ad costs. As we calculated, if your ad cost CPA is higher than your gross profit, you are burning cash. Many beginners set a budget of $20 a day for ads, get no sales, and quit. They don't realize they might need to spend $100 to find the winning audience, which they will make back later. 3. Giving up within 1 to 2 months. This is the biggest reason. Beginners expect $10,000 in month 1. When they see a negative $300 balance, they assume the business model is a scam and they quit. They quit right before they might have found their winning product. 4. Relying on slow suppliers. If your supplier takes 3 weeks to ship, the customer asks for a refund before the product arrives. Now you have to refund the money, but the product is already shipped. You lose the sale cost, the shipping cost, and the product cost. One bad supplier can wipe out a month of profit. Intermediate versus advanced earnings after 6 months. But what about the 10% who survive? What happens after month 6? The intermediate stage, months 3 to 12. Those who survive the testing phase and find one winning product start to see returns. They have optimized their ads. They found a supplier who ships in 7 days. They have a conversion rate of 2%. Revenue $15,000 per month. Cost of goods sold in shipping 40%, $6,000. Ad spend 33%, $5,000. Fees MISC $500. Net profit $3,500 per month. This is the realistic goal for an intermediate dropshipper. You are making a decent living, but you are working hard. You are answering emails, tracking orders, and monitoring ads daily. The advanced expert stage 1+ year. This is where the numbers get exciting, but it is not automatic. To reach $10,000 to $50,000 plus net profit per month, you have to scale. You cannot do this with one product. You need a brand. You need multiple winning products. You might hire a virtual assistant to handle customer service. You might move from dropshipping to holding your own inventory, which increases margins by 20%. An advanced store might look like this. Revenue $100,000 per month. Costs $60,000. Net profit $40,000. However, remember the key point. Not everyone who survives 1 year automatically hits this level. To earn $10K plus net, you need to treat this like a sophisticated business. You need systems, teams, and branding. Only the top 1% of the 10% who survive reach this level. So, is dropshipping worth it? Let's look at the final verdict. The math tells us that it is a business of delayed gratification. You will likely lose money in months 1 to 3. You will work for free in months 4 to 6. And if you are disciplined, you can start earning real profit in months 6 to 12. The average income for a beginner is $0. The average income for someone who survives the first year is $12,000 to $40,000 a year. And the top 1%, they make 6 or 7 figures. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a retail business. You have to manage margins, traffic, and suppliers. If you can handle the math and the stress of the first 3 months, the rewards are there. But if you are looking for a lottery ticket, you are better off saving your money. If this breakdown saved you from wasting your savings on a guru course, or if it helped you understand the real game, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see the math behind other online businesses, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more to uncover.